Hi everyone, and Happy New Year! In this video, I'm going to tell you how I went from 108 kilograms at my maximum to around 85 kilograms today. The entire process took about 2 years, but I fluctuated up and down and up and down. I want to share with you my journey and the exact strategies that I used to lose weight, how to avoid slipping back into old habits so you can actually lose weight and then keep the weight off. And then most importantly is to sustain yourself and actually try and enjoy your life while you're losing weight. If you don't want to watch the whole video, I'm going to give you a really quick summary of everything I did, and there's more information in the description. I did intermittent fasting, calorie counting, I cut out alcohol, cut out all bad processed foods and replaced them with a healthier option, and I introduced cardiovascular workouts into my daily routine. Obviously there's a little bit more to it than just that, so if you're interested in hearing everything, then please stay tuned. What I think most people struggle with when they try and lose weight is getting inundated with all these different methods and strategies. Different people will say different things. Sometimes you just want one simple little trick that will make the biggest amount of difference, and it's all the choices that ultimately put people off losing weight. Obviously, the difficulty is that life is not simple, and there is not really one simple thing that will just do the trick. It's not really an easy process, but you can make it easier for yourself by just introducing one simple element at a time. Focus on that for a number of weeks or even months, and then when this becomes a little bit more natural, you can pick something else, and then over a period of months or years, you will have completely transformed your habits. Also, important thing to remember is I'm not a doctor, or I don't really have any qualifications that are relevant whatsoever, so take everything that I say with a little pinch of salt and do your own research. So to give you a little bit of context on my situation, I was in full-time training at circus school, and it was very physically intensive, literally training for about 8 hours a day, and I was also a vegan at this time, so I was relatively thin and skinny throughout training, which was around 2013, 2014. I started gaining weight when I left full-time training and transitioned into the world of professional work, and it was also around this time where I started to ease off of the vegan diet into a more everything diet. So you can already see where I'm going with this. Change my diet, less training. I'm also the sort of person that finds it very tricky to say no to free food, and I really like to taste a little bit of everything, if you know what I mean. Another factor was alcohol consumption. I was never really that big on drinking when I was a student, but once I began doing shows, it became part of the routine to do a show, and then you go to the bar. Especially if you're on tour or if you're away, then there's nothing to do other than going to a bar, but alcohol calories, liquid calories in general, can add up really quick without you knowing. When I was at home and not on tour, instead of alcohol, I would have biscuits, I would have crisps. It was just a gradual build up over time. Anyway, this went on from about the end of 2014 on to about 2018, and throughout that time, I also started getting into the gym, and I started to bulk. And yeah, eventually I realized I actually don't want to bulk. I don't actually want to be the big guy. I want to be light and agile, and that's the sort of person I want to be. So that's when my journey starts, the end of November 2018. The very first thing that I did was starting intermittent fasting. I just did the 16-8, so you fast for 16 hours a day, eat for 8, and that's all I did. I don't want to go on about intermittent fasting too much because I've got other videos on it, so check them out if you're interested. I did find the 16-8 to be challenging at the start, but it was very effective, especially because it forced me to stop eating at night, so I couldn't have the snacks I'd usually have, couldn't have alcohol late at night, and generally it just helped me moderate things. By February 2019, I'd got to about 99 kilograms. So it's already quite a decent drop. And it was around this time where I decided to try something new, and I got into the ketogenic diet. I just did this for 30 days as an experiment. I do think regardless of losing weight, it's good to experiment with your diet because you never really know what is optimal for you. I personally didn't really like the ketogenic diet. It did help me lose weight, but I didn't really enjoy eating all the fats and stuff like that. But the positive thing about it was it got me really into MyFitnessPal. Because obviously with ketogenic diets, you have to track your carbohydrates and your fats, and I just tracked everything. MyFitnessPal is free and it's a really good tracking app. I'll put the link down there, and it inadvertently led to me starting to track my calories. So did that for 30 days, left the ketogenic diet, and then I was just fasting plus calorie counting. Now, if you don't know how many calories you need just to maintain your body weight, I'm going to put all the links in the description for calorie calculators to work out how much you need to maintain, to lose weight, etc. So I worked out my limit, and then I made sure that I kept under this, and this is where I saw some really good weight loss gains. Fasting, calorie counting, I was dropping weight really quick. It was going very well until I got a few jobs, a couple of cruise ships with unlimited buffets, and here we are, back to 98, 99 kilograms. So this could be considered a bit of a fail, but I thought it was quite an important thing, and I was happy that it happened because I learned the lessons. And the first lesson that I learned was don't jump from extremity to extremity. You have to understand, if you're in a calorie deficit for a number of months and then you give yourself permission to enjoy yourself and try different foods, it can go wrong quite quick. I do still think it's important to give yourself permission to try stuff, but there are ways to do it that is more manageable. For example, fill up first on the vegetables and the salads, don't have a plate of potatoes and then have other stuff. Or for example, you just try a little bit of each thing rather than a whole plate of each individual item in the buffet. And the third lesson was maintain your exercise, because it sounds counterintuitive, but on the jobs, even though I was working as a performer, as a circus performer, didn't actually translate to doing that much physical stuff. And more so than that, we were limited in how we could train. Anyway, got off the cruise, started dieting again, got my weight lower, and then, lo and behold, another cruise ship, beginning of 2020, wow. And this one was even worse. I went in with the idea to do more exercise, as I just said, but things happened, you know, I wasn't allowed to use the treadmill because I was so heavy and I made so much noise on it. So it all went downhill, came back about March, lockdown. I decided I need to make some change once and for all. First thing I did, increased my fasting window to 18 hours. This may sound like a lot, but remember, I've been doing this consistently for over a year, the 16-hour version. I wouldn't do it when I was away, but every time I came home, I would be doing the intermittent fasting. With lockdown, it became very easy to schedule my days and my meals. One of the biggest things that I did, have a weekly shop instead of a daily shop. I used to just go to the supermarket on my way home from wherever I was, buy dinner, and then repeat that every day. And with lockdown, didn't want to spend too much time in the shops, so it's a weekly shop. You can't have snacks if you don't buy them. It's not no snacks, but the snacks that I once had, I replaced with a healthier option. I'd have rice cakes instead of crisps, I'd have yogurt with nuts and stuff like that in. Doesn't sound like very appealing. Obviously, if you try a Galaxy bar and you're used to eating this, and then you try a dark chocolate bar, you're gonna think it's disgusting. But if you have no Galaxy bars, no processed sugary stuff, and then you have the dark chocolate bar, it's gonna taste really, really sweet, and it honestly does do that. You just have to give your taste buds or whatever a little bit of time to adapt. At this point, it's also important to say I was no longer using MyFitnessPal. It became a bit of a compulsive thing and it took a lot of time up to count all my calories. But I do think it's important to go through the process of using it, and then you just start to think about calories and what is in your food a little bit differently. I don't want to say that I have mastered intuitive calorie counting, because I definitely haven't, but I'm better at it than I was before. So first couple of months, I wasn't even going outside that much. So I changed the diet, change the processed foods. I also cut out on the alcohol, not 100%, but just only on a special occasion like on Christmas or New Year's. Got to about summer, June, July, I bought a bike, started venturing outdoors, and that's really when the cardio started. It began with bike rides, and then I started doing some running, I got a skipping rope. I generally enjoy just mixing it up. I think it's really important to enjoy doing the cardio that you're doing, and I don't think it matters too much what it is, but as long as you're doing something. Remember, the most important thing is to be able to sustain yourself doing it. So if you don't enjoy it, then you're probably not going to be able to keep doing it over and over. It's important to also know that throughout this whole time, and I think this is important across the board, when you're trying to do something, you have to also educate yourself with people that have already done it or they have studied it, things like this. So when I was trying to lose weight throughout this whole time, I'm also researching and I'm watching YouTube videos, reading the forums, all of this stuff. So at this point, we're doing intuitive calorie counting, we're doing intermittent fasting, 18 hours a day, cut out the processed foods, and also cut out the alcohol, plus cardio every day, maybe one day off a week. Post-summer, I increased my fasting to 20 hours a day. It sort of fluctuated between 18 and 20 most days, but I tried to keep it as small a window as possible. Again, sounds extreme, but remember the process. I built up to this. I didn't just jump straight into 20 hours. The way that I built up, personally, I didn't find it a big jump. I don't personally find myself hungry anymore. On top of my cardio, I was doing one other form of exercise a day. So that would usually be yoga or handstands. Sometimes I do some weights. Oh, I was also doing a very short morning routine with a little bit of a workout in. If you guys do want to see more information on the exact training that I do, then I make monthly training videos where I detail everything, so check that out if you're interested. Also keep in mind, I'm not doing all of these activities solely to lose weight. My purpose is also to improve at these activities because I consider them a hobby, I consider them good to do for my job and for my life in general. And that's important for you to know. Don't just do everything and the only reason you're doing it is to lose weight. There's got to be other reasons, you know, exercise and sports and yoga. There's so many benefits for all of this stuff. Like, don't just think about it as a thing that you must do to lose the weight and you hate it. It's not that. You've got to change this mindset if you want to lose weight successfully, in my opinion. I hope this video provided some value to somebody. If you have any questions or anything like that, please ask me in the comments. And in general, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe the video, and I will see you next time.
Hey.